Welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today we'll be talking about the current cosmic energies. And without further ado, I'd love to pass the task to T for the transits of the week. Welcome, T.
Thank you, Shay. How are you? Welcome you two this week to our podcast and welcome everyone out there who's listening in. We love that you're here. We love your participation, so keep coming back. So what we're going to talk about this week is, and mind you, we just completed that earthquake in the Northeast that many of us experienced last week, and then we just had the solar eclipse. So a lot of energies are going on, but it's a little bit quieter this coming week. However, energies build upon each other, as we've discussed, that solar eclipse is going to be around us for a while. We won't see the effects for a while, so just be aware of that. So this week we're talking about April 10th to April 16th, and we have the Sun in Aries conjuncts Mercury in Aries from the 15th to the 17th. And while that is happening, Venus in Aries is conjuncting Sun in Aries from the 14th to the 16th. So we have these three planets kind of dancing with each other. So these were my thoughts on it. Remember that Chiron also is in Aries and it's also conjunct with these energies, right? Remember that the wounded healer. So you can think about wounded or you can think about healer. Where is it that you're going to put your energy here in transformation? Again, as always, everything is dependent on where these planets fall in your personal blueprint, which means your personal natal chart. Simultaneously, Mercury is in retrograde. So this gives you the opportunity to sit with where all this change is going to bring you, right? Mercury is inviting you to sit down, take notes, write it out. And we've spoken about our own participation in this process. And this is where the act of self-agency of facing up what needs to be done from our own standpoints, it's essential as these energies, they're like conspiring to transform our lives. So I think of the sun, the I has a healthy ego, voicing, communicating aloud our vision in the world, during this powerful transit. The act of reflection is essential for Mercury retrograde energy. And because Venus is also in Aries, remember that she brings the energy of love, the resources, the possessions, relationships, things of beauty, art, wealth that all of this brings. So it's like not only the outside treasures that you hold, but especially the inside treasures that you're holding there. And when you're talking about Chiron is afoot, all of these three planets in Aries, together it's a heady mix. It's change, it's beauty, it's bringing your talents to the forefront. This is what it's like in Aries season. We're like at the new. This is about our appearance. This is about, and I don't mean appearance in terms of the superficial, like what blouse did I choose to wear today? It's even deeper than that. It's like, who is the persona? Who is it that I signify? Who is it that I'm walking into the room with, in terms of myself? What is my identity?
T had mentioned the word treasure, and all the transit for this week are overlapping, integrating with one another, and they're bringing treasures to us. With Mercury, Venus, and the sun, this is a complete kind of solar aspect, a solar experience where we're able to let our conversations happen, where we're involved in conversations with others. So we might feel that this is a heightened time of meeting other people or chatting or learning. This is one part of how we can show that part of ourselves that we want to glisten out into the world, or maybe that people see the most out of us. So for instance, we might go to a theater, and that might be the place that we meet all different kinds of people, or we come in contact and get inspired. So this connection that is the sun is bringing to our sense of the mind, and then our sense of love and heart. So it's like mind and heart chakra are both, and crown chakra are both connecting here with the sun living so close to both these personal planets. So it becomes very close and personal, and almost like I'm getting the word close knit. So maybe our close knit friends or community is there to support us. It's of the voice within. I want to share the flavor of this transit because it's important of it wanting us to evaluate significant, again, connections that can be made. And we can connect with our most profound areas of life by stirring up conversations with others. And we might start to tap into new things of learning and deeper levels of intimacy as we connect Venus, Mercury, and the Sun together. So let's use this time to maybe make some agreements with some good people that we have around, make some business connections, or just simply present. This is a good day. If you're presenting this day, this is a favorable kind of connection and planetary positions.
Yeah, I love that. Like suddenly in my mind, as you're talking, I'm connecting the sun with the head, Mercury with our throat, and Venus with our heart, right? And that they're all combining as you're talking about the chakras. Like, what a beautiful flow there. So beautiful. So thank you for that. So the second transit that we'll both be talking about is Jupiter in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, and this is from the 12th to the 21st. It's going to be here for a while. That conjunction is what's happening. And in between this, we have Mars in Pisces sextiles Jupiter in Taurus. So you have the Jupiter, Mars, and Uranus planets. And that would be from the 13th to the 15th. So as I said, it's embedded in there. So I think we've already witnessed a little bit about what this conjunction do with our recent experience of earthquakes in the Northeast and really throughout the world. I mean, it's just not us over here. We think of the expansion that Jupiter lends to whatever enterprise is in place. It expands, it goes on, it co-creates the disturbance, the shock waves that were produced by Uranus. These energies are in Taurus, where we think of settled Earth. Taurus represents our resources, whether they be our lands or our financial resources. Taurus, remember, is ruled by Venus, and that brings to mind love, money, possessions. So we're being encouraged to think about where we're putting our resources. Example, the news about cryptocurrencies. Example of loss. Like this guy is going to jail for a long time. It's like, you know, I feel for the people who talked on the news about their loss of resources. So ask yourself, what do you hold dear? Because it's not just money, right? We talked about that during this past transit that I just described. We're not only talking about money. Uranus conjunct Jupiter can bring disruptive changes to things that we may be comfortable in, but are not really stable entities that we expect them to be, and they need change. So the energy of Mars in Pisces, sextiling Jupiter in Taurus, that brings an overlay of empathy, compassion, kindness. It's the kind-hearted warrior who brings a softer slant to the situation. However, during this time, I'm suggesting meditation, I'm suggesting journaling, whatever it is that helps you to keep a clear head, because sometimes Mars and Pisces can have a lack of clarity. It can be mutable and it can be vulnerable. And those are just, factors that we just need to be aware of. It's just, beneficial to be aware that I may be bringing a lack of clarity to the plate or, to the table, to the boardroom, wherever it is that I'm sitting this week.
And with that T comes change, ability for us with Uranus and Jupiter sitting together of these changes that can all like happen out of nowhere. This losses or gains that we expect or may not expect, because Jupiter is the planet of abundance. It brings a lot. It's beautiful. It's great. And in the sign of Taurus, it's like a lot of abundance, but sometimes it could be too much next to Uranus. So shaking our earth, under our feet, might not feel always 100% secure, or we might already be anchored and just go with the flow of what's going to happen, of what's going to come up for us individually and as a collective. And the flavor of Jupiter and Uranus sitting together is like a sizzling pan, a sizzling to the newness that can happen, to the new things that can happen to us. So unexpected, again, gains and loss. And in order for us to experience this renewal, we have to reflect on what was happening around 2010 and 11. So this is, again, where when Uranus and Jupiter were together, and there was that connection there, and thinking what was happening then and where are you now? And sometimes, people say, oh, you shouldn't look too much to the past, but sometimes you do look back to patterns in the past to understand patterns now and how to work through those that are coming up today. With the social planet of Jupiter and the collective planet of Uranus, they merge together, bringing in a certain energy. This is a 14-year cycle that both planets, when they join, come together and create change, unexpected and abundant, or there's loss. And as this is happening in 21 degrees of Taurus, if we look at that specific point in our charts, we're able to understand what areas of our life. So this whole, just to be more personal, this whole like Jupiter and Uranus connection is really close to my moon in Taurus. So what am I to expect? How am I supposed to ground? What is going to come? And I don't know. And it's okay not to know. It's okay to expect, not have any expectations, and go with the flow. And this is, again, the moon is the womb. The moon represents the self, the person. So there might be a lot of changes. Who knows? Jupiter's there. I'm ruled by Jupiter. So let's see what happens. Always pray to make sure that everything is, I'm grounding myself and my energies. I meditate. So that can be also, if you're watching this, can be some tips. Pray, also meditate, and see what comes up. I was so interested in this specific planetary connection because I look back a little bit, the historic resonance to it now. And it was just very interesting to find out like some of the historical events that were happening around that time and now, and how it kind of they both mirror each other. So with this cycle, it wants us to, as a collective, to move forward. It wants us to have this ability to be like, okay, changes are happening. A lot is going on, but am I ready for this change? What is the next steps? And these are some of the questions for you to kind of keep in mind. And if you like, this is just a practical thing, something fun. You can place, write in a strip of paper, hey, what are my next steps? Put it under your pillow. If you like to dream, put it under your pillow in your altar. And then wake up the next morning and see what comes up. Right? Maybe you dream an answer, or maybe you see an answer. Maybe you feel the answer. So allow yourself to experience these connections, these big vibrational planets, to help you understand that. And here we're also opening our wings to great manifestations. People say maybe not so much, but I believe there's this opening for us and a new direction that can come up. It's a lot, but it's a new direction. I hope everyone, from this little spiel that I gave, that you're able to take what resonates with you and apply it.
That's lovely. Yes, I just want to talk a little bit more about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and give you some of the dates. What really struck out at me was it happens every 12 years or so. The first one that jumped out at me was July 20th, 1969, and that's when the men landed on the moon.
Wow.
And for me personally, that was a really extraordinary time. I was very young and things happened that were like life-changing. The next one was and that was in Libra. The next ones were in 1983, February 18th in Sagittarius, May 14th in Sagittarius, and September 25th in Sagittarius. And that was the next one. In the following Jupiter-Uranus conjunction was in February of 1997 on the 16th, and that was in Aquarius.
Mm.
And then the last one that we experienced was in 2010. So you may be able to think about, what were you doing in 2010? What were you doing in 1983? If you were here, right? Because some of us were in here and some of us were here. So the ones in 2010, one was June 8th, and that was in Aries. September 19th was in Pisces, and January 4th of 2011 was in Pisces. So this, look back, think back. Look at your resume if you have to. Where was I working? What was I doing? Did I just get married? Like what was happening? And as Shay just said, those are really important times. So if like we can come in contact with it, then we can have a clue as to what we experienced already and where we may be going. And I think that your what you suggest is just like so right on. Just like be prepared for it. I too, I have Uranus is conjunct by a 2-degree orb to my Taurus sun, and Jupiter's right there, as well as yeah, one of the asteroids, Selena, is there too. But that's a
Mm,
whole other discussion. That's a whole other
that's a good
podcast.
one.
But she's sitting there and she's giving me some TLC during this like really major time of change. So anyway, like you can dig deep. This is the fun part about astrology. We give a basic discussion of what's going on for the week, and then you can go as deep as you want or not, right? Just know like what's happening, what do I have to look out for. So that's what I've got.
Yeah, I just to quickly mention, just to you and everyone, everyone's talking this. Selena, it's awesome that she's around your son, right? You mentioned.
Yes.
So Selena plays a role of like protecting and giving, like she's like almost like the high divine, and so she's protecting you. She's protecting your vitality, and they're in this like kind of like shaky time. So if anyone has this planet, Selena next to any personal planet in your natal chart, or wherever it is, she's protecting you in that specific area. So just want to bring that up. I thought that was interesting.
She's an asteroid.
Yeah, that energy, that archetype plays there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's course 201, not 101. All right. So what have you got going on this week, Shayla?
As usual, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, I will be available for in-person, virtual, and phone sessions. So please reach out to read more about me. If you want to just get to know who I am, please visit www.shaylaandrose.com. That information will be down below. Remember to join us on Patreon, where we present exclusive content such as things with Selena, asteroids, natal charts, analysis, and things as such. So, and also remember to support this channel, share it, like it. It's free. The button is right there down below, and it means a lot to us. Anything you want to share, T?
I'm just open for virtual readings, spiritual, with or without the astrology. I use my oracle, Graciela La Gitana, who's got lots to say, and also use tarot. So, yeah, connect if you feel that desire. If it's calling to you, just reach out. We're here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and con mucho, mucho sabor, Sabor Astrology. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.